I'm welcoming Joanna Summerscales and Bill Brooks, and our surprise guest, John Dillon, later on, who will join us. Bill Brooks is an ex-soldier. He became a musician later on from the British Army back in the 60s. He had a memory flash recall and download at age 44 during an ET encounter, and discovered he'd had a lifetime of alien abductions and mind control experiments. And tonight we'll speak about with the co-author Joanna and Bill about the book 44, his amazing experiences in the world of military and ET abductions, secret societies as well, and Freemason persecution, mind control experiments, MK Ultra type, black programs, and Men in Black encounters. He's also had encounters with Nordics, Greys, Reptilians, Shadow Beings, and Men in Blacks. So good night, Joanna. If you want to introduce yourself and the match that you used to run, and how Bill came about to speak up and come out of the closet through the match, and how now you're running a new newsroom that is called ETN, ET Newsroom.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, and thanks for having us all on, along with our surprise guest, who's actually John Sutton, not John Dillon. But anyway, the Amash project ran for 5 years, from 2011 till end of December 2015. And essentially, most people know my work in the field, but I was interviewing experiencers and researchers in the end, because I also had my own radio show, the Amash Files, which ran for a little over a year as well. And essentially, it's research. When Bill called me, because one of the things that Amash has done is to provide a helpline, a unique helpline. This is in the UK. But interestingly, I've had calls from all over the world, and certainly emails as well. So I've had some absolutely fascinating information come through about this whole field and subject, but especially the experiences. I'm particularly interested in the human condition, from the spiritual end of things, to where this is taking us in our galactic trip as humanity. So back to Bill. Bill contacted me back in about 2012 after he'd seen me on TV doing some interviews, and he'd had a series of heart attacks and strokes, and really thought that he was the end of the road of his life, and just thought he'd have one more shot at getting hold of someone to try and share his story, to try and get some feedback, some input, some help, some support. He was in really bad shape. His health was in a shocking state, and really just every which way, because as the title of the book says, not only has he had a lifelong encounters with alien abduction for over 44 years now, but also he's had encounters with Men in Black, a serial killer as well, and certainly there's been mass persecution by the Freemasons, and this is quite a mix. And I myself had never heard of such a mix. Now, so we could progress the book as Amash came to an end, and it came to a natural end in as much as things had changed in the mid part of the Amash world in about sort of 3 years ago, but I wanted to carry on. So I've gone under a new banner, starting again, and it's called the ET Newsroom, or ETN, and people will have to excuse me, I still have not attended to the website properly, but that will get done in due course. But it's out there on Facebook and Twitter.
I know. I have interviewed you a few times on my shows in France for the Amash, and had also hosted a few Amash abductees from
yes.
your group.
Yeah. So the culmination of the work with Bill actually was nearly 4 years. And one of the reasons it took so long, and we published out there on Amazon and Kindle, is because we did it ourselves, because we looked at publishers, and that just wasn't going to work. That was going to take forever. And also Bill's health has taken some real knocks. 2 years ago, he died. In fact, it's about almost 2 years to the day, I think maybe less 2 days. He died for a couple of minutes and was resuscitated. And we really thought, my goodness, are we going to get this book finished? So we worked really hard, but also because of some of the memories that actually came back during the writing. Now, there weren't any major memories, but there were some detailed memories which really shocked Bill. And some of the research that I did really set him back psychologically. And we would have to take breaks sometimes of several weeks, even 2 or 3 months, so he could recover and then get some perspective on what was coming through. And so here we have this book. And I think it's, really a fantastic accolade to Bill that he has come forward. And I will say that in the title of the book, it says based on an ex-soldier's true story. And the reason that we put that is because Bill also will tell you the story, but he had a cousin who was actually murdered by the Freemasons, and he can tell you that, but he was very concerned for not only his own welfare, but for that of his son. And so we put base, so we've got a bit of wiggle room if anybody challenges him on that. But I can tell you from what I know, this is all factual as far as Bill recalls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have some direct interaction with Freemasons here in France quite a bit. I know I'm surrounded by Freemasons all over in ufology, which is a field, research field that is very infiltrated by Freemasons. But Freemasons are also abductees and some contactees and researchers, and they're not all. They don't all belong to the Black Lodges that are tied into the power that be, the powers that be and the government. But lots of them are, and I know they can be a threat sometimes where they want something to disappear or shut down. So
yes. I think what's interesting about Bill's story as well, and some people may have heard it, I don't know, but just to give you a very quick overview, Bill was born in 1950 in the West Midlands of the UK, which is also known as the Black Country, near a place called Stourbridge. And that's also very close to the birthplace of Robert Plant, whom he also met a few times and seems to feature in the story from time to time during meetings. Which is really interesting because one of Bill's most, I suppose, profound contacts events happened kind of almost in the backyard of Robert Plant's place, because it was in the field where he had the house was looking over. So, and I've been to all of these major sites as well. So, it really gives you a sense of the structure and the area, the geography, and you really get a hands-on feel for it. So it was very interesting. So Bill grew up essentially eldest of 3 siblings. He had a brother who was very severely disabled physically